welcome to episode 2 of Unwinding. I am Alex.
And I'm Chris.
And this is our post Walt Disney World trip report.
What does that even mean?
Well, Chris Windings.
Tell us, comfortable lady.
I will tell you. I have a blankie because I was cold.
We still didn't turn the fan off.
Oh. Somehow I don't realize I like a fan. Even when I'm cold, I like the air to be circulating. So, sorry.
It's okay.
So anyways, we most recently went to Walt Disney World in June of 2023. We typically do not like to go to Florida in between the months
summer.
of June and August, particularly.
Why did we go?
Because it was my birthday.
It was your birthday. Which kind of birthday was it?
It was my 30th
It was
birthday.
the big 3-0.
I know. Can you hardly tell? I definitely don't look 30.
Yeah, Gen Z just tuned out. They don't even, but the
They're
funny
like,
thing is they don't even get the reference tuned out.
Oh,
Go touch grass, Gen Z.
Sad. You can't say that.
Why can't I say touch grass?
You can't be mean to
Why can't
other generations.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So we went for my 30th birthday, and it was a pretty last minute decision. I mean, ish, like a month
Last
and a
minute
half.
for you. I think that people need to know my planning versus your planning is two totally different things. You know, I would think that like 2.5 to 3 months is a pretty good amount of time to plan a trip. Not for you.
Yeah, this is a discussion we've been having in this household lately. But anyway, it was pretty last minute in the grand scheme of things. You have to realize some people plan their trips like a year in advance.
I
and
agree.
that's okay.
You should.
Because
I'm not saying
pro tip, you're going to get a good price, better price that way.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll get a better price. The availability of your experience is going to be better, with the exception of probably, like, there are certain things you have to reserve at a set time out, which I guess those are probably around 2 months, but...
Yeah, your 60-day mark for your dining and, of course, things like that. Sure.
Yeah. So tell us about this trip.
Okay, so this trip, like I said, we did a little... we didn't really have it planned. It wasn't in our normal rotation of trips for this summer. Like I said, we kind of were like, we tend to not travel a lot in the summer, and this summer was kind of a joke. Like I think I was gone every single weekend in June, but Disney put out a promotion for their resort rooms, and it was pretty decent. It was for, they had it for different, like everybody, but we're annual pass holders. So I think ours was even a little bit more of a discount. And I was like, hey, it's only going to cost, this much in a room. What do you think about doing a 2-night stay? Because Simple Plan was playing at Epcot. That's what kind of started this whole thing. I wanted to go last year when they played at Epcot. They play at the Garden Rocks festival every year, which is basically the Flower and Garden Festival. It's like their little concert series, and they play most every year. Last year I wanted to go. We weren't able to make it happen. And when I saw that they were going to be there the week after my 30th, I was like, how could I make this work?
Welcome to my life.
Yeah. Welcome to our life, right?
I was quoting this song.
Oh.
By Simple Plan.
That really went over my head, which is pretty sad.
Oh my gosh.
I'm the fan here of 20 years, but it's fine.
No, you can't tell.
No, that was bad. Anyway, so that is kind of what started this whole thing.
So promo aside, did you say where we stayed?
I did it. Okay. So where'd we stay? Do you remember?
Gosh dang it. I want to say Coronado Springs.
Shut up.
Every time.
Know where we stay.
Every time. It's the sea. The sea gets me because we stayed at Caribbean Beach Resort.
Correct.
Yes. And
or if you say Caribbean.
Sure. If you want to say it wrong. Caribbean Beach Resort is a nice resort. It's a little spread out, but
it is.
It's
the first time staying there.
Yeah, but it also has 2 different stops along the Skyliner, which, if you remember from episode 1, is my favorite mode of transportation.
Correct.
So,
correct.
Even in your birthday, I got a little something.
Yeah, you did, and it was one of the things. We haven't stayed at the Caribbean Beach Resort. Now I'm not going to say it wrong, whichever way you want to say it. we hadn't stayed there before, and so it was one of those like, hey, why not? It was around the same price as we typically pay for Pop Century or Art of Animation on a value resort, and this was a moderate resort. So I said, 2 nights, why not? So, and our flights were free. We had some, stuff around that, and it was kind of a no-brainer for us. So that is kind of the reasoning we took the trip, and we added several new things onto it. A lot of people ask us, like, why do you always go back to Disney World? Don't you get tired of riding the rides? We didn't really ride that many rides this trip.
It's because in the summer at Disney World, it's so busy.
Very busy.
And it's so hot. So you don't really want to be waiting in crazy long lines all day. So you find other things to do. We didn't want to. Yeah. Particularly. We go enough. We don't need to ride. We didn't want to ride a ton unless it was kind of a shorter wait. We didn't really want to wait in the lines. Yeah. Which is fine. So this was a very, very, very short trip. It was a Friday. We left early Friday morning, all day Saturday, and came back Sunday late. So we typically take the pretty early flight out of Nashville because it usually is less expensive, and we don't mind getting up early most of the time. I like a Starbucks coffee at an airport in the morning when I'm about to take off.
Yeah, so we took that early flight out. It was great getting out. Everything was very smooth. We left the house.
But then ...
Yeah. Our flight situations lately have been atrocious. I don't know what.
We've had a couple bad ones in a row.
I don't like flying at all. You like it.
Deep breaths. I love it.
I don't love it. But it's one of those things. I want to travel, so I have to, deal with it. And that can be a whole nother thing of how I deal with my flight anxiety, because I have lots of tools and techniques. Chris knows several of the tools.
I was going to say, it's not just you. Like people,
you know them
people
too.
Who are married to people with anxiety around flights. There's
so you could learn something too.
Different set of things.
Yeah.
That you need to know.
Yeah. So we haven't had great luck with our flying lately. And this was no exception. So I'm kind of a crazy person when it comes to the flight tracker. If you fly Southwest, I don't know if other airlines do this. We almost always fly Southwest. But they have a flight tracker where you can see how long is left in the flight, and it shows you kind of where you're at on the map. And I started, looking at that from the second we took off.
Oh, yeah.
And watching those minutes tick down, how much longer I have to be in this metal tube flying through the sky. And I started kind of noticing that we were not going straight anymore. And I was like, so I pulled out my app and I was like, why are we going in circles? So essentially there was bad weather in Orlando. We were not able to get down to Orlando. We were in like South Georgia-ish area.
I think they actually closed the airport.
They did, yes. And so the captain was great. He kept us very informed. He, kept saying things, which sometimes is a little overkill for me, because then I'm like,
sometimes it's annoying, but these like this crew is actually pretty funny.
They were great. It was a really great crew. And so they, eventually they were like basically like, hey, we don't have enough fuel to just hang out up here, which is never what you want to hear when you're in an airplane. So we ended up landing in Panama City Beach, which travel is so unpredictable, especially if you are traveling by plane. And you just have to be patient, and you can't really do anything about it. It is what it is. There's no reason to get upset about it, even though it stinks sometimes. And I was a little disappointed, but I kept it together. So once we finally got to Orlando, it was close to noon-ish, maybe 11 noon-ish time in Orlando. Yep. And we always take the Mears Connect from the airport to our resort when we are staying on property at Disney World. It is just an easy shuttle for us.
Yeah, it's super easy. Yep. Yeah. The first time you go to Mears in the Orlando airport, like at MCO, is a little strange, because you kind of like you go to the left before, then you go down 2 flights, and then you go to the right. Yeah, like it seems like you're going in the wrong direction at first, but
you're not.
You're not.
Follow the signs.
Yeah, watch a video on YouTube. It's easy once you know, and you've done it the first time. It's probably the easiest way to get there.
So once we got on Mears, since we were staying at a moderate resort, they dropped us off first, which was really nice. Typically, they put more than just your resort in there. It was like several different other resorts that are kind of around that same area, which would have been like Pop Century, Art of Animation, those resorts, because they're pretty close by. So they dropped us off, and our room wasn't quite ready. It was close to 1 o'clock. It's just a busy time of year. So, we didn't expect it to be ready. So we ended up just hanging out at Banana Cabana, I think is right.
Yeah, Banana Cabana.
Banana Cabana.
Right. Yep.
Which is the little kind of like outdoor bar, diner kind of little thing.
Yeah.
Is there a better way to explain that?
I mean, don't make it sound bad. It was good.
It was great. It was great. I was trying to explain like the atmosphere. It's like an outdoor quick service-y.
Yeah, picture like a pool bar with food, but not in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Like a cabana.
This is great. No, it was really cute. We had a great waitress, and we weren't like super hungry, but 'cause it was like, your day just feels weird when you get up at 3 a.m. and it's like 1 o'clock. You've already done like a full day, but it's only 1. The whole thing felt kind of weird. But we ended up getting a
Cuban
cocktail
sandwich.
and a Cuban. Yeah, we both had a drink and a Cuban.
Fourth of July themed
gin and tonic. Yeah. I think it was a gin and tonic. It was supposed to be 4th of July themed, but it ended up just being like purple.
Yeah, the red, white, and blue did fuse together.
Yeah.
It's fine though.
Yeah, it was fine. And then I had a pina colada, which was delicious. I mean, you can't really mess up a pina colada.
Typical poolside.
Yeah, exactly.
Poolside
and we were staying at Caribbean Beach Resort, so
beach drink.
It felt right.
Yeah.
At that point, our room wasn't quite ready, so we ended up kind of hanging around the resort until it was ready. Once we did get our room notification, and we can go more into detail of all this, and this will probably just come up naturally, but the one thing that's really nice about Disney resorts is you don't have to visit the front desk when you do get there.
Right.
You can literally check in without speaking to anyone, but if you want to speak to somebody, you totally can go to the front desk. But if you have a magic band...
maybe also if you're like celebrating, I don't know, a 30th birthday or something like that, you can go to the front desk and get yourself a button that says, I'm celebrating my 30th birthday.
Exactly. I just like to say, like, you don't have to do that. If ends up being a line, you don't have to sit there and wait at the check-in. You can use the My Disney Experience mobile app to unlock your door, which I know sounds wild, but it works. Or if you have a magic band, you can get in that way. So once we got to our room, like Chris said earlier, Caribbean Beach Resort is massive. It's very spread out. And it's kind of like different little areas, I guess.
Territories.
Territories, yeah, because they're named different things. And we were in the Barbados section.
Yep.
Our room was fine. I will say, I feel like it was not one of the renovated rooms in Caribbean Beach Resort. They have renovated a lot of them, but not all of them. It felt a little just like dated, but it was clean. It was spacious.
I would say it was one of the better beds that
The bed was so comfortable.
It was one of the nicest beds we've stayed at.
So comfortable. Like, I think I've noticed that it's not that the value beds are not comfortable, but the moderate beds, when we stayed at Coronado and Caribbean Beach Resort, the both beds have been better.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
So after that, we ended up taking a nap because we had been up since 3 a.m. and we were exhausted. So we took a nap. It was glorious, kind of got cleaned up and everything. And then Friday night was the night we were going to go see Simple Plan at Epcot. So this was our first time doing the Garden Rocks concert series. And I did not realize that they played 3 separate 30-minute shows with like a break in between. So I think there was like a 5:30, a 6:45, and an 8-ish, like around that time frame. And we ended up missing the first one because we were just exhausted. We took a very long nap. Yep. We didn't get there in time.
And we stopped a little bit on the way to get food.
True. So we ended up at the 6:45 one. Just be prepared for waiting or getting there earlier if you do want to get a good seat. In hindsight, I would have, if it's somebody you really, really want to see, you can do a dining little package for that particular concert where it includes a dinner at you can choose a couple different places in Epcot, and then it gets you a better seat
for the actual show.
For the show.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 would have done that, especially when I looked at the pricing. It depends. They're all a little different tiered depending on the restaurant, but it was not bad. And we're going to eat anyway. So you might as well get a good seat.
Yeah, it's Epcot. You're going to eat.
Yeah, and it was really hot that night. So anyways, we watched the concert. It was super fun. We've seen Simple Plan 2 other times, full shows. So it wasn't as good as that.
Yeah, it was a little tamed down.
But it was really cool having I've been listening to Simple Plans for about 20 years. Having that melded with is melded a word? Whatever.
Mixed.
Having those mixed together with my love of Disney World and specifically Epcot, because Epcot's probably our favorite park, is like...
Ooh, hot take.
Ooh, sorry. Was that a hot take? Psst, hot take. Sizzle. So, yeah, that was just a cool experience. It was only a 30-minute show. It was hotter than...
I was sweating. So I was sweating standing still.
It was so hot.
It was ridiculous.
And
whenever it's like that, it's just so hard to eat. But I feel like it's Florida in July. Like
what are we gonna expect, right?
Yeah. The other thing that was different this time going down there is it was the first time we've gone down since Harmonious has been over, and you know what? We might get hated for this, and maybe we'll edit this out. But the people who complain about the barges inside of World Showcase, I don't understand it. Like, that show was so good that it was worth having just like a little bit. Like, the view across the water, I don't know, maybe I was just in the wrong place, and I don't.
Let's have a moment of silence for Harmonious.
Rip.
So sad. Oh. That's how we feel about the people who didn't like the barges.
2319.
Yeah, so that was basically the first night. Oh my gosh, and I forgot. I got to have the peanut butter and jelly ice cream cone.
I didn't even remember that.
So good. It was so good. It was melting all over the place because it was so hot, but it was delicious. It was so good. I hope they keep that around.
I don't care.
I know. I love ice cream.
Yeah, no, as far as ice cream goes, for me. But.
So that was day 1, essentially. And at that point, it was getting pretty late. You did get your fun little Joffrey's drink at the end of that night. And then got yelled at when you were leaving and had to chug it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a pass holder drink from like 2021 that is basically...
Yeah, or 2, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a spiked peach tea that was on the menu. And it's really cool. If you basically can just go up and ask them for, a spiked peach tea, and they'll do it still. So you don't even have to be a pass holder now. So if you really were interested in that and you were in the park and you couldn't do it because you weren't a fancy pass holder.
Did you say it was at Joffrey's?
Yeah, it's at the Joffrey's in Epcot. All of them are all the Joffreys are a little bit different.
It's in the one in the World Showcase just before you go to in between Canada and the UK.
Europe, yeah.
Did you just say Europe? UK?
Europe.
We took the Skyliner back to our resort that night. New surprise there. Actually, no, we ended up going over and walking around the boardwalk a little bit.
Yeah, we did go, but that was just because the line to
was
get
really
out
long.
of
And
Epcot was insane.
We haven't been to the boardwalk since like 2019 in that area, so we're like, let's just go and do a little walksies. So
they had more things open this go around than I think that they had the last time. I think everything was still kind of shut down. Yeah, and they had a cool dance hall and
there's a lot to do over there.
Piano bar down there. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's some ice cream shops over there, different restaurants, things like that. So yeah, so that was basically day 1. Day 2, I set an alarm early to get the virtual queue for Tron because we were going to Magic Kingdom on day 2. So the virtual queue opens up at 7 a.m. I have gone I have 100% rating on my virtual queue attempts. So
wow.
Congratulations to me.
Yeah.
And congratulations to you for getting to ride all those rides because of me.
Absolutely.
So I got the virtual queue for Tron at 7, and Magic Kingdom didn't open until like 8 or 8:30 that day. So I was like, we going back to sleep. The virtual queue, this is just an experience for us that we can share with the people because I had heard that with Tron, they were being a little bit more strict around your time. You have an hour from your virtual queue gets called. You have an hour to get there and check in and get on the rides, get in the queue. So I kind of freaked out because I had heard that was a thing. And I was worried. We had ridden it before, but I really wanted to ride it again because it's a good ride. And so I was like, oh, okay, so let's scamper our way over here. So we got our coffee really quick and on an empty stomach, which if you know me, I don't do caffeine well.
Terrible decision. We were sitting at the bus stop, and there, of course, whenever we showed up, there was nobody there.
No
right?
One boy, I think.
Each one of the bus stops has like this has a TV over in the corner that's kind of just like it's got like a estimated arrival time, and about this time, like we've been there for like 5 minutes, and the coffee starts to kick in for her, and she immediately starts going like every time it went up like a minute, she was like, oh, the buses are up another minute.
Yeah, so I was super irritated and on caffeine with nothing in my stomach. So, yeah. The bus just kept getting worse and worse. It was like 10 minutes away, then it was 12 minutes away, then 14, and it just kept going. And it just like was getting worse and worse and worse to the point, I think based on what my app said, we had to be checked into Tron at 10, and at 9:45 our bus finally got there.
Yeah.
And of course, at this point, there's 47,000 people waiting for the bus. So instead of having a nice leisure bus ride, it was like slam full bus ride, which, patient pants, I'm at Disney World. I'm going to choose to be happy. It's fine. So our normal like walk down Main Street that could have been enjoyable and chill with our coffee and our croissants from the Le Petit. Croissant. Ended up being like me rushing on my caffeine and no food psychopath crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris was just like
a mission.
And so I'm like running, not really, because you shouldn't run in Disney World. I'm briskly walking. And we got there.
My legs are longer, so I can just walk.
Yeah, right. I was like scurrying. And when we got there, I saw a cast member out a little bit of a ways from where you scan, and I just said, hey, like, we're like 25 minutes behind where we should be here for. He was like, no, you're fine, go ahead, don't worry about it. And it still took us another like 15 minutes probably to get up to the point where you actually scan your magic bands.
Yep.
And it went green and we were totally fine. So I have no idea if that is the case all the time, but that was the case for us. Hopefully they will be pretty lax. My biggest tip with cast members is to always be nice to them and to just explain the situation to them, and they will usually, most of the time, help you out. They realize that you're there wanting to enjoy the ride. They're not going to be like, sorry, you're 5 minutes late because the bus system. Just explain to them, hey, my bus, if it goes green and you're fine, you should be fine to go. But if for some reason it doesn't, explain to them, hey, our bus was like, it took 45 minutes for our bus to get to us. Just explain. And they're usually really good at it.
Yeah, they want you to be happy. This is their trip. And if there's something they can do for you,
don't start off being mean.
They'll do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Because they want to work with you.
But Alex, Karen's going to Karen.
You're not wrong. So,
okay,
how was your Tron experience, though? Did you enjoy it on the second?
Yes, I felt more comfortable.
For sure. You knew what to expect.
I did like waiting again to do it from the front. I feel like that ride is one of those rides that
I agree.
You really, even if it's an extra like 5 to 10 minute wait, like it's worth the wait to do that in the front of the ride.
Yeah.
Just because like your visibility is so much better there.
Yeah. So if you're a thrill seeker and you like that, just ask the cast member when they ask you how many are in your party, just say, can we go to row 1? And they'll usually say, yeah, it'll be a little bit of an extra wait, and they'll let you.
Yep.
So from there, we were starving because we had not eaten, and it was like 11:30.
Yep.
So we went over to Pinocchio's Village House, which I have never eaten at before, and I knew it was just going to be like nothing special, but I knew it would be quick and something for our bellies to have. Because I knew our goal was to go over to one of the monorail resorts after this. We did not spend much time in Magic Kingdom after that. We ended up doing...
It was the middle of the day. It was crazy hot, and there was a lot of people.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. We were just kind of over it. So we did do some shopping in the Emporium, kind of walked around. I just realized we didn't go to the shops on the other side of Main Street at all this trip.
Nope.
So then we took the monorail over to the Polynesian, the Poly, and there were the pulled pork nachos. The Hawaiian pulled pork nachos was something I had seen a lot online lately, and I was wanting to try them. How did you feel about the pulled pork nachos?
If I was just
not so
on
hot.
the monorail going around and checking out the resorts and you happen to be hungry there, it was good.
Yeah.
I think they were fine.
I liked them. Yeah. They weren't my most favorite treat ever.
The pairing of the chips was kind of cool. Right? Like, so some of the chips were actually like kettle chips, and then the other ones were more like your tortilla.
No, like wonton.
Chips.
They were wonton chips.
Wonton chips. Okay.
Yeah. So it was good.
Yeah.
From there, I believe we went back and napped again.
Yeah, I think so.
It was so hot.
Middle of the day, super hot.
It was so hot. We were just like worn out, and I realized that going back and taking a nap may not be everybody's jam, and that's totally cool, especially if you only go, once a year, once every couple years. Like, that's fine. We 10 out of 10 recommend it because it just is more enjoyable for us.
Yeah.
That evening, we ended up going over to Nomad Lounge in Animal Kingdom. Our annual passes allow us to park hop, so where you can go to different parks throughout the day.
After 2 p.m.
After 2 p.m. right now, yeah. That is changing some of that, but we won't get into that right now. So we did make our way over to Nomad Lounge, enjoyed a couple beveraginos and some snackaroonies. It is one of our favorite spots.
Yeah, it's a really good spot.
In Disney World, for sure. So
what were the appetizers that we ate there?
We got the wings that you said smelled like dog poo-poo, but tasted great.
They tasted great, but on the nose.
He was like, I don't know what's in this, but it stinks. And they did not smell great, but they had a great taste, and they were done well.
Yeah, they were crunchy
crispy and everything.
Sweet, and
Yeah. So we had those, and then we had the they were like little sliders with yuca fries.
Yes.
And we both got a drink. I got just like a ginger beer thing. It was non-alcoholic, and it was delicious. And you got a couple of the old-fashioned-y things. Were they not old fashions? I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't. I think
they all
have
kind of odd names there.
Yeah.
But they're good. If you like a unique cocktail, great place for it. Or even you can get all of their cocktails without alcohol if you don't drink. And they have just great food. It's good. So from there, we did a little shop-a-lopping because I knew from online that some of the Animal Kingdom shops had this little number that I'm wearing right now.
They generally have different stuff.
It's not necessarily different. It's just like the stuff that's newer tends to not sell out as fast there. It's like more available there. Because this is not just an Animal Kingdom shirt. It just sold out in the other places.
Wow.
So this is a Goofy Movie shirt, if you can't see it.
It's got some Powerline up there.
Yeah, Max's Powerline up here. And it's one of my favorite movies. So I was very excited to get this. And we got some Goofy Movie pins this trip as well. So from there, we scampered on over to Magic Kingdom via the bus system. After 2 p.m., you can take the buses to and from parks. Before that, you cannot, because that's when Park Hopper happens. So once we got to Magic Kingdom, we didn't really have much of an agenda besides our fireworks package, dessert party package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30th dessert party for somebody.
Yeah. Tell us more how this went poorly.
Yeah, no, I think it was great. Like, the weather was perfect, and we got there on time. There was nobody there.
Perfect. Everything was great.
It felt like we were the only people in the park, and I couldn't have experienced anything better.
The complete opposite of that is what happened.
So, pro tip, you should definitely buy ponchos ahead of time. Now, normally you
always
do, and you have them as kind of an essential in your bag.
I always do.
Yeah, and for some reason this trip, just didn't even think about it.
Didn't even bring any.
I think
didn't even pack any.
It's probably because whenever we go, there's, it rains for like 15 or 20 minutes in the afternoon.
Yeah, because it's usually like
fine.
But the
now
summertime ain't
like
that, y'all.
Yeah, and so we get there, and it looks, it's almost kind of like down there, you can't even check the radar, right? Like, so out of nowhere.
It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine, and out of nowhere,
then it
just
wasn't.
pops up and rained for like 45 minutes. Out I mean, and when I say it rained for 45 minutes, I'm saying it rained
torrential downpour.
It rained hard for 45 minutes.
Yep.
So I got a couple of ponchos. She
Well,
got drenched before I got the ponchos.
I held our spot because at the dessert party, you paid for the desserts, but you also pay to have a viewing area of the fireworks. And this is our first time seeing Happily Ever After, the fireworks show, since 2019, because they had a different during the 50th. And so we were very excited about it. We wanted to get a designated spot and I was in the front row with nobody blocking my view of my 5'3" body. And I was like, I'm not leaving this spot. And he goes, Alex, it's about to pour. And I'm like, go buy ponchos. And he was like, okay. And I feel like you were kind of annoyed. You didn't really want to do it, but he got the better end of the deal because I stood there as it started torrential downpouring and everyone took off running for shelter. And there's just not a lot of shelter. So at one point I was like, okay, I'm going to go find Chris. It kind of like stopped raining a little bit. And then as I was going to find Chris, it started torrential downpouring again. And he had already gotten his poncho on. And so I feel like you were not super wet underneath. I was soaked, but we put our ponchos on.
Got back out there and it was.
And my spot was still there.
Another 30 minutes till the fireworks started.
I think it was longer than that.
Really?
We were out there for so long.
Yeah,
maybe it wasn't that long, but we kept like going, we're crazy. Why are we doing this? But we weren't the only ones. There was a lot of us there.
Does that make it better?
And when you pay $100 a person for the dessert party and the fireworks show, you staying.
You staying.
Oh well. It is what it is. Pack your ponchos, my friends.
Yep.
Pack your ponchos.
So the show was good.
Sobbed.
Yeah, the show was great.
So good.
No Tinkerbell at the end, obviously, because it was pouring down and raining.
She did not fly.
But then the dessert party.
Yeah. What did you think about the dessert party?
There were desserts. I'm not a dessert guy.
You're not. You enjoyed your wine.
Yeah, it was fun. They had a cab, and they had some white. I don't think I had any of the white. Just had some cab, and I don't know. It was.
Yeah, it was fine. It's like I said, you pay the money really more to get your seating experience, your viewing experience for the fireworks. But yeah, there's a ton of different assortments of little desserts, chocolate covered strawberries, all the way to mousse.
The mousse was really good.
Yeah, cookies, and then there's milk. I think there may have been hot chocolate and water, and
there was Pog juice. And then for the adults, there is champagne, wine, red, white, and then a couple different beers, I believe. Yeah, I think they were like Florida. They were Florida beers.
Okay.
Yep.
And so, everything's basically like unlimited, all you can enjoy. And it was, we did the post fireworks show, which I would recommend. You can do a pre, which is you eat before, then watch the show, or a post, you watch the show, eat after, or you can do the seats and suites, which is you eat while you watch the fireworks. So there's 3 different options there. We did the post. I'm glad we did the post.
Yeah, I didn't feel rushed getting out at all.
Yeah, you didn't feel rushed getting out. The crowds were nothing leaving.
Yeah, when we left there was not a single person that we ran into.
There was probably in all of Main Street, there was like 10 people, and 3 of them were cast members.
Yep.
So that was kind of cool, just walking down that while it poured down rain. We were the only 2 people on our bus back, and the cast member was really friendly and great, and we chatted with them about all the kind of different things. Jackie. I think it was Jackie.
I almost remembered.
Yeah, they were great. So, that was day 2.
Yeah, it was great.
Interesting day for sure. Nothing went right, but like you said, a core memory day, so it was fine. It is what it is. Day 3, our final day. We tend to, when we're taking a later flight out, which we were, it wasn't until like 9 o'clock that night.
Especially on short trips.
On short trips.
Yep.
On short trips. Yes. Good call. On our short trips like this, which was just a long weekend, we stay into our room until like 10:30, 11. You have to check out at 11. I always feel kind of bad because I know they need to clean the rooms and turn them over. Yeah. So we do try to get out there like 10:30, 10:45. We try not to go all the way till 11. But we like to sleep in, get a shower, take our time, get, everything packed up. And then we take our bags over to Bell Services. On your check-in day and your checkout day, you can utilize Bell Services and they will keep all of your belongings for you. And you can pick them up when you're ready to either get in your room or when you leave. From there, what do we do?
I don't remember. I guess we, if memory serves me correct, if I got up and then checked my bags, we probably went to look for breakfast.
Yes, we did go to eat breakfast. We had breakfast at the quick service because I hadn't had my Mickey waffles in our little breakfast
yet.
yet.
The whole trip.
Yeah, so we ate Mickey waffles and enjoyed just some more downtime at the resort and ended up going over to Hollywood Studios afterwards just to kind of see what was up, get to ride the Skyliner again.
And lo and behold, the app said... Was it 15 minutes? Or was
25.
It was 25 minutes for Tower of Terror, which in the middle of the summer, you're not going to beat. So,
especially at like noon.
Yeah, no, it was great. We didn't even get over there early. So we got over there.
I didn't want to say anything because that ride makes me want to poop my pants. And I'm so stressed, but I love it. It just scares me to death. There's nothing... I'm just talking about it. I have anxious belly just talking about that ride. But it's the best. It was one of my favorite rides, but it scares the crap out of me. So it is what it is. But yeah, we got over there, rode that. And then Mickey and Min wasn't a super long wait, but it ended up being eternal because there was a lot of Lightning Lane people going. And we waited probably an hour, which we normally would not do. But it was something to do.
Well, it was like 40 minutes on the app is what it said it was supposed to be. But then, again,
but it was fine.
A lot of people just kind of flocked to it. It was a good... Everybody was coming back from lunch and grabbed their Lightning Lane to it, so it was good.
So it was fine. We rode that. From there, we really didn't want to do a ton else in Hollywood. It was just really hot, middle of the afternoon. So we ended up just leaving and riding around the Skyliner a little bit and enjoying that. We kind of made a plan that we wanted to eat at... I think we kind of changed it up a few times. We were a little all over the place this day, to be honest, because we just... don't like being in the parks in the middle of the afternoon. It's just too hot and there's too many people. And we didn't want to eat at Hollywood Studios. So we were like, okay, let's go over to Coronado Springs, which is probably at this point our favorite resort.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
All the way around.
The vibes, the food, it's just great. It's a little off the beaten path, but we knew that it was getting to the point where Dahlia Lounge was going to be open, which is... delicious food and drinks at this lounge.
At some point, we have to do an entire episode on
100%.
Yeah, on Coronado.
100%. So we ate at Barcelona Lounge, or we had a drink at Barcelona Lounge. Yep. Again, on the empty stomach and drinking some sangria.
Yeah.
Wasn't doing so hot. It got to me real quick. Did not feel great. I was like, woo!
But then Dahlia opened and you took the party upstairs.
Yes, and got some good food. And
what did we have?
We had those chicken wings again. I was on a chicken wing kick.
You were
we had chicken wings twice.
You were feeling wings.
They were delicious, crispy, and then that it's the little like oh my gosh, what do they call it? It's just like Spanish omelet, kind of the Spanish.
Oh yeah, it was like
with
a
potato frittata thing.
Yeah,
it's really good. It was delicious.
It was really good.
It was very tasty, and had some more drinks, and then we got our sandwich to go.
Yeah, this it's another Cuban, right?
No,
did we do like
it is a. It's got like prosciutto manchego and like a hot honey kind of situation, and like this delicious baguette. Might be my most favorite thing on property.
It's up there. It's top 5, easy.
Good. So good.
So yeah, we took that to go.
That was going to be our airplane
that up, and that was
snack.
That was our going to the airport snack.
Yeah, because we knew we were going to be at the airport around like dinner time.
Yep.
So at this point, our flight had already been delayed by like an hour, which we knew was going to happen. We're taking the last flight out, like weather delays, all that. It was inevitable. I wasn't really surprised. But we finally landed in Nashville. It was late. Again, I don't think we got in bed until almost 1 a.m.
Yeah.
But we were able to sleep in the next day.
It wasn't quite as bad because we were on Eastern time just a little bit, so...
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was our trip. What was your highlight, do you feel like, for you of the trip? number one thing?
Ooh, number one thing of the whole trip.
Yeah.
It's got to be the Tower of Terror. Like, it's got to be, like, I wasn't expecting you to be like, hey, Tower of Terror only has
This just shows how much I love him, because I'm the one that looks at the app most of the time, like, and looking at stuff, right? Yeah. Like, you're still on it, but like, I'm usually a little bit more whatever. And I was like, it says 25 minutes. Like, that's kind of our bar. Yeah. Under 30 minutes where we can wait for a ride. Yeah. And I was like, I could have just not told him.
You could have been untruthful. What was your favorite?
Happily Ever After.
Really?
Even though it poured down rain and Tink did not fly, that, y'all know, like, it just...
That show is different.
That song,
the music
is
different. Yeah.
I hadn't seen it since 2019. Just hearing the opening, it wrecks me. And I, like, if you listen to the lyrics of that song and just like, I know it's like kind of kitschy and lame, but it just like really speaks to me as a person. It speaks to like where we are right now in our life and like what we're doing. And it just wrecks me. I just love that show, and it was fun to be able to see it again. I'm excited to go see it again.
It's a good one. You ready to wrap this sucker up?
Yeah, I know this. I'm long-winded, and I love talking about our trip. So that was our trip in June of 2023. 3 very, very quick days to Walt Disney World for my 30th birthday. Lots of fun. Lots of new things happened. This is a new podcast, so we really appreciate y'all liking, subscribing, sharing it with a friend, all the things that either YouTube or the Apple Podcast or wherever you're listening to this lovely show on. Give us your reviews and all those good things.
All the positive ones.
Yeah, only positives. We don't want the negative ones because it'll hurt my feelings. So yeah, share it with a friend, and we will see y'all next time on episode 3. What we got coming up next? Do we want to give a little sneaky peeky?
A sneak preview? I don't know. I don't think I want to spoil it. I think it's good. They can just tune back in.
All right, y'all. Come back next time and we'll see you then. Thanks for listening to Unwinding. I'm Alex.
And I'm Chris.
See you next time.